Peace. This is a new video coming with the topic of autoimmune, so-called autoimmune disorders, and I'm going to speak particularly about polymyositis, but this can apply to pretty much any autoimmune disease or so-called disorder. I was inspired to make this video while I was having my breakfast, and I was having some garlic and basil and cashew pesto and a salad with beets and greens and cucumbers and tomatoes. And I'm a firm believer in letting food be one's medicine. At the same time, I think that sometimes some of the diseases or the afflictions we get are we have to address them from more than just the food perspective. We have to look at the whole picture, at the bigger picture. While I was eating, I thought, okay, I had just also finished doing some exercises and some yoga, and around this time of the year, I've seen a lot of friends express what they're thankful for. Like, I'm thankful for this, I'm thankful for that, and I do believe that we have to be thankful always and express our gratitude for all the blessings we have. There's not one specific day out of the year where we need to express thankfulness. So I felt thankful for my body, because it carries me to places, because it has the strength and it takes me to places, because it allows me to walk and climb upstairs and get on the bike and run during like marathons, and haven't run a full marathon, just a half marathon or a 10K, and I was feeling really, really thankful. And then I thought I would like to be able to share this story with people and let it be known that it is possible to heal from an autoimmune disorder. I'm going to speak specifically about polymyositis because this is something that I had, or I was told I had polymyositis some years ago. It started with just general weakness all over my body. I remember falling for no reason. I would get on the bus, and then while I'm getting on the bus, I would just fall. When climbing stairs, when going down the stairs, it was just very strange for me. I felt like my muscles were weak, like they couldn't really hold my body. And I was fasting around that time, so I just attributed it to the fast. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe because I'm not eating as much, or my blood sugar is low, I'm feeling kind of tired. But this problem continued even after I stopped fasting. And I remember going to a regular doctor, and he gave me a bunch of different things, like said, oh, maybe you have some nerve damage or muscle damage or whatever, just put something around your leg and take some of these pain medications. I wasn't really in pain, I just felt weak. And then the problem continued, and it started to get worse. It got to the point where my arms were so weak that it was hard for me to brush my hair. It was hard for me to dress myself. It got really, it became very challenging to do any type of even mild physical activity. So I went to another doctor. They did a blood test and found, he checked for different like inflammation markers in the blood, and found that my CPK was 10,000. Apparently the normal range is no more than 100, and the doctor looked at the number. First he thought it was 1,000. He's like, no, there's another zero, it's a 10,000, this is really high. And he was even surprised that I was still walking at that time. So right away, the conventional medicine approach is to put the person on high doses of steroids, prednisone. I had like injections of like 1,000 milligrams of prednisone each time. Also taking prednisone every day, like 60 to 80 milligrams. At some point it was 100 milligrams. Prednisone was not enough. Here, take other immunosuppressant drugs and medications, and I just had this cocktail of like so many different drugs. And of course each one had its side effects, and once you take one you gotta take something else to ward off the side effects of the other one. So if one causes bone thinning, you start taking something for bone, for osteoporosis, and then one causes a spike in blood sugar, so they started giving me insulin shots, and one of the other side effects is stomach issues. So here, take a Nexium because your stomach is overwhelmed, and liver toxicity is going up, and it was just a big mess. I know what that feels like. I used to be in that situation, and I remember waking up every day and all my thoughts and ideas just revolved around this disease and what would I do. And of course, like, doctors will throw around so many different words to describe it. Oh, it's idiopathic, it's chronic, it's degenerative, you're gonna have it for the rest of your life. And I just remember feeling overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, feeling like, okay, I've got to live with this for the rest of my life, and it's just gonna get worse and worse as I get older. And right now it's affecting the proximal muscles, it's gonna get to the lung and the heart, and having one autoimmune disorder makes you prone to other autoimmune, so you might develop something else like lupus or dermatomyositis, and all kinds of ideas. And just the future did not look so promising at that point. So I mention all of this just to give you an idea of what I've been through. And at this point I take absolutely no, it's been years, and I take nothing. I refuse to even take cold medicine, or if I have a headache or anything, I just choose to treat it the natural way. Now I wanted to create this video because I've seen I know at the time when I had polymyositis, I was researching and looking, and I had wished I'd come across some videos or some message that was more than just take your med and accept the idea that you have the chronic illness and just try to keep it under control. I also make this video because I hope that people will change the way they look at their own bodies and their own immune system. Because I remember at the time thinking that my body has become my enemy. My body is just rebelling against itself. My body is attacking and destroying its own healthy tissues and muscles. And what is wrong? My body is in a war with itself. And yes, that is what was going on. At the same time, it doesn't help to look at your body as this thing that's basically pitted against you. Your body is your friend, your body is your healer, your body is what's going to propel you forward and help you overcome this. It's a matter of how you look at it. Your autoimmune system is indicative of other issues that are going on in the body, not just in the physical sense, but mentally, emotionally. I know I was under a lot of stress. I know I was working and concentrating on things that deep within, I didn't feel like that was my purpose in life. It was just, I was going with the flow. I was going with what was considered academically popular and professionally beneficial on a financial level, but not really thinking and realizing, what is my purpose? Why have I come to this world? And what am I here to achieve? What am I here to learn, and what am I here to teach? So the stress, not being in the right the right mindset, also just having a state of chaos, whether it's in your surroundings, within your own self, the different thoughts, feeling anxious about different things, feeling angry, holding on to resentment, not loving your body and yourself enough, not treating it well. So here are a few steps I think can really help anyone who has been diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder or just any type of disease and feels like, okay, this is here to stay, I gotta live with this for the rest of my life. One thing is stress. I believe that stress is the main and root cause of so many different problems and afflictions. So whatever area in your life you feel brings you stress, address that. Don't run away, don't hide, don't harbor anger and resentment towards that source of stress without really dealing with it, and from the perspective of I love myself enough to not allow this to continue to happen to me, whether it's a dysfunctional relationship, whether it's a toxic environment, work environment, family, study, any type of environment. Address the stressful areas within your life and acknowledge them and clear up that stress, and just take on more hobbies and more activities that will help you relax, that will help you think clearly and be calm and not be agitated all the time, not be so alert all the time, not be defensive and in a state of defensiveness all the time, because that also sends the message to your immune system that I'm in constant danger, that I'm in constant threat, that there's something here that's threatening me, which could be true. It's something, but it's something outside of yourself, and you have to acknowledge that so that your immune system will not be so hyped up all the time thinking there's this virus or there's this something I've got to eradicate, and gets really, really on the defense. Also, clean up your life. Whatever you've got going on that's causing mess, or clean up your life in every way. Clean up your space, your mental, physical health. Feed your body with nourishing, clean, and sustaining thoughts and foods and ideas, and also surround yourself with supportive and healthy and loving people. Be loving and supportive of others, but also recognize that you have to honor yourself and respect yourself, and not basically give up your own sense of love and respect for other people. Recognize that we're all connected and we all deserve healing and love, and it all starts from within, first and foremost. Also, take the time to reflect, and this goes beyond belief system, religious practices, and all of that. Take the time. I think that when our life is centered around, okay, I've got to get up, I've got to run to work, I've got to go to school, I've got to come back, everything is like rush, and there's no time where you just reflect. There's no time where you connect with the divine, whatever you label, whatever you think it is, whatever gives your life a sense of meaning and makes you feel connected to something higher and bigger than just your physical self, your emotional self, your mental self. Whatever that may be, take the time to connect. I spoke to one doctor, conventional medicine doctor, who has worked on treating autoimmune disorders in Europe, and also in some Eastern societies, and he said that overall, his approach is using medications and pharmaceutical drugs, but one thing he said that he noticed is that the recovery and of people that were in societies that had more of a connection to a spiritual way of looking at things was much higher than people that were just have become so programmed to just follow, to basically just work, and there's no time for reflection, no time for meditation, none of that. And this has, as I thought about it more and more, it's not a matter of one place is better than the other, East is better than West, East is more spiritual than West. It's not a place in the physical sense. It's a place at where you are in your life. You could be, I mean, I've lived in Western societies for a good portion of my life, and it's not about where you live, but what you carry with, what you embody, and knowing where you come from. Not from the sense of like, okay, I come from this country or I come from this culture, but knowing where we have all come from and honoring that divine source and really connecting and reflecting, and not just feeling so disconnected and detached and only connected to material things, because that's when our body starts to really feel out of balance and manifest that in those type of autoimmune disorders. Also, focus on anti-inflammatory foods. It's very important. I think food is a very important component. Eat lots of leafy greens, fresh juices, anti-inflammatory spices, ginger, turmeric. And when you really consume something, think about it, visualize what it's doing to your body, the healing effect that it has on you. Look up different anti-inflammatory herbs and really take things in their most natural form. I'm not a big fan of taking like extracts or pills or any type of supplement. Take things from their natural source, from their most natural, uncorrupt source, and that's a very, very, very important step in your healing process. When I was diagnosed with polymyositis, I was eating meat, I was drinking alcohol occasionally, and I never smoked cigarette, but I smoked different kinds of like flavored tobacco, and I was eating lots of vegetables and fruits, but I wasn't always eating fresh, and I was sometimes eating like canned or processed or cooked to death fruits and vegetables, and my diet was not very healthy. So I started eating more fresh vegetables, and I started eating a lot of garlic and drinking fruit juices and doing fruit fasting and detoxing, and you definitely notice the difference. You notice the difference in your skin, you notice the difference with your digestive system, and you see how your body starts to shed all those extra pounds from being on prednisone and steroids all this time. So you definitely see the effect. One thing I want to say with regard to that is try not to be overwhelmed by the detoxifying process, because it's not always fun and pleasant at first, and it can be a little challenging. I remember when once I made the decision that I don't want to take prednisone anymore, and I sought the help of a alternative medicine physician, and I didn't do things gradually. I sort of just, okay, no more of those medications, and I'm going to take all these supplements and homeopathic remedies. And I was really, really not feeling well, like throwing up the whole time, feeling so lethargic and fatigued, and like I couldn't get out of bed. And I thought, is this better than having polymyositis? At least I was getting out of bed somehow when I was on the prednisone. And that's because the detoxifying process is your body is purging, it's getting rid of. I really truly believe that autoimmune disorders are basically a toxic overload, and your body is overwhelmed. So just take the time and clean up and do the process slowly. Be gentle with your body, be kind to your body. Recognize it's okay sometimes you might not feel so great, but you're gonna get up, and once those toxins leave your body, you're gonna start to feel so much better. I'm going to do another video because I realize this video is long already, and I hope it's helpful. I hope it's helping people. I know that when I was going through this health challenge, I wish there were some videos pertaining to what I had in particular, but also in general. I think to recognize that all diseases and health challenges stem from the same source, and to take that process of healing in our own hands and realize we can change it, we can heal our lives, we can get off medications, and we can live life free of drugs and medicines, and also not centered around the idea that I have a disorder or a disease that I've got to live with for the rest of my life. I hope this helps. Peace.